Burgess claimed to be paying all of my expenses, and after all those were paid, giving me the remainder of my income earned. I believe she was stealing money from me from the inception, if not before. Paragraph 49, he says, Blue Moon did not and does not have any revenue stream other than my revenue. Blue Moon is not a fee or revenue generating company. I entrusted Ms. Burgess as my agent, power of attorney, and business manager to maintain Blue Moon's books and perform duties beneficial to me as required by her fiduciary duties. Paragraph 51, he purchased, they call it Ghost Ranch. He purchased that house on August 21st, 2018. That is the one and only house. This is the one and only house that is actually titled in Mr. Upchurch's name. The other houses that Mr. Upchurch bought, and he says this, he goes through this extensively in his affidavit, but I won't go find the particular paragraph, but he tells you that he bought Clay Lick. He bought Clay Lick for him to live in. That's a $799,000 house that he bought for himself to live in. It's titled in Blue Moon. He let his mother handle the matters with the real estate agent, also believing that he owned Blue Moon. He moved into Clay Lick. He lived there for a bit, had some construction problems with it, and so he moved out and he bought himself North Pool. North Pool is also in Blue Moon's name. That was the house that Mr. Upchurch bought for himself to live in. Eventually, he left North Pool and went back to Clay Lick, and now he's at Ghost Ranch. But all of these houses belong to Mr. Upchurch. If we look at this video, just go ahead and show it to the court. I think. Oh, like we said, we never worked that way.
Do you need the clerk to come back and assist with this, or you think you're going to be able to play it?
I think didn't we say we just bring it up there? It never worked.
Right.
So.
Are you wanting to play it on that laptop?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long is it?
Very short. I mean, a minute, maybe.
Play it for Miss Burgess to make sure she's seen it.
Yeah.
All right, then set it on the podium then.
Make sure that it doesn't happen that we are always this is something that we always agree. If one of us ever made it, we would make sure that it doesn't happen that we always this is something that we always agree on. And one of our practice understanding, we were always. So he does his work. He just very thoroughly good engineers and that really was kind of all of them because we're all super giving and it's right into the best friend. He's one of the person very good scholars. This was right for them. So that is that give credit where credit is due, and that credit is due is not done right. It's that time for our agricultural entrepreneurs book. So
What that says is that he is purchasing homes. The only home titled in Miss Burgess's name is, she said, Ryan bought me my house, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. And that's going to be a question for the court, whether Main Street, which was titled in Miss Burgess's name, was in fact voluntarily, but whether Mr. Upchurch knew that was purchased in Miss Burgess's name. And what he would testify is that and what he has testified to in his declaration is that he did not. The house for the best friend, as I told you, is a Blue Moon house. Blue Moon, North Pool, and Pleasant View are all Blue Moon houses. So
you're asking for, based upon this, the filings that you have, as well as the what you just played for me, but with the declaration of Mr. Upchurch and the other individual. You're asking to extend this order of protection pending a final hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in that, you're asking to restrain her from directly or indirectly exercising any power of attorney concerning Violent Upchurch, from using, spending, transferring, dissipating, investing, donating, or otherwise moving any money from or derived from or belonging to Mr. Upchurch or Blue Moon, or funds originating from income, royalties, or revenue resulting from Mr. Upchurch's endeavors, listing, selling, transferring, or otherwise disposing of any property held in the name of Blue Moon LLC or Patricia Burgess, and or purchased with funds from Blue Moon or Ryan Upchurch, including but not limited to 1242. You list all of these houses. In addition, you're asking that she be enjoined from contacting the tenants or inhabitants of any of those properties, and not transferring any of those properties' title until further orders of this court. You're asking she be restrained from selling, transferring, or otherwise disposing of real or personal property purchased with money from or derived from Mr. Upchurch and or Blue Moon, or acting in any capacity of Blue Moon, or conducting any financial business or other legal transactions. It goes on and lists a bunch of more that I'm not going to go into, but essentially you're asking that she be prohibited, according to that restraining order, from taking any action to dispose of any of this real or personal property acquired through Blue Moon, as well as from doing any sort of action that would essentially affect the operation of Mr. Upchurch's business. Is that correct?
Correct. And to, it all boils down to not dissipating any of his assets, because part of that is correct, Your Honor. Part of what we have in there is about her not accessing any of his royalty accounts. We didn't get a chance to file this with the court. We may be filing a contempt, but we've got where she accessed his royalty account in June multiple times to the tune of $60,000. It's a couple.
So in the month of June, after this was filed in March, she nonetheless exercised.
That is what the document that we got that showed that she accessed. It went to an email address. It looks like a payment of what is it called? PayPal account. Oh, I'll put it up here. I already moved it. Yes, Your Honor. Let me pull this. Oh, God. Cool. Give me 1 moment. Or somehow this did not, I don't have this printed. I have this in my email, but it's a company by the name of 1 RPM. Mr. Upchurch has since brought on financial advisors to make sure this doesn't happen again. So he's got he's actually a business manager who is licensed, bonded, insured, and they discovered this, and they emailed a document from 1 RPM showing that since 2020, Ms. Burgess has money to the tune of $690,000 was paid to a PayPal account associated with Ms. Burgess, and $60,000 of that has been since the TRO was entered in this case.
Ms. Burgess, you understand what this hearing is limited to today is to determine for me to determine whether or not there has been a need for the extension of this restraining order. Do you have anything you want to say about that one issue? I'm giving you time to answer the lawsuit. This is not about the merits of the lawsuit. This is basically Mr. Upchurch, through his attorney, seeking to keep you from accessing any funds that belong to him or Blue Moon, and from disposing of any property pending another hearing.
And may I just address one thing before I'll sit down and let her. I'm Blue Moon's attorney, have been Blue Moon's attorney, and am currently Blue Moon's attorney, but have never just I know that you said that